First up, making her ex jealous. Camilla Parker Bowles met Andrew Parker Bowles in 1966, and despite his womanizing reputation, the then 19-year-old was completely smitten. Unfortunately, the British Army officer allegedly cheated on Camilla repeatedly throughout their on-again and off-again relationship. Although the Queen Consort put up with her wandering boyfriend, she did have one waiting to exhale moment. According to biographer Penny Jr., Camilla saw Andrew's car parked outside the home of one of her best friend's house, and she let the air out of his tires. In the early 70s, Andrew began a secret intimate relationship with Princess Anne. Camilla must have decided that when your ex is dating a princess, vandalizing his car for a second time just won't cut it. So instead, she sought revenge by dating a future king who also happened to be Princess Anne's brother. According to the Duchess, The Untold Story, Camilla's mere motivation was to have some excitement and make Andrew jealous. While revenge may have been her initial motivation, Camilla and Charles clearly became infatuated during their 18-month affair, but Andrew was never completely out the picture. In the book Camilla and Charles, author Caroline Graham claims that Camilla told a friend at the time, "I love Charles very much, but I simply can't forget about Andrew. Is it possible to love two men at the same time?" Number 9. After Diana's passing, Charles and Camilla went public. Besides being unpopular with royal family members, Camilla wasn't a public favorite. In the eyes of many, she was an adulteress who made Princess Diana's life miserable. But Charles wasn't willing to give Camilla up a second time. In 1999, 2 years after Diana's passing, Charles and Camilla began appearing in public together. Queen Elizabeth and Charles' son seemed to accept the relationship in public, but the Queen Mother remained opposed but passed away in 2002. Finally, the public could no longer deny or ignore Charles and Camilla's relationship, and in 2005, after years of waiting, they declared their intention to marry. Number 8. More power, more problems. Prince Harry's invitation to his father, King Charles's coronation on May 6th sparked a wave of controversy, with Queen Camilla especially displeased that her stepson was welcomed to the historic event. According to an insider, Prince William and Queen Camilla had both believed that the Duke of Sussex should have been banished from the kingdom instead, as a mere measure to demonstrate that his supposedly traitorous behavior would not be tolerated. Queen Camilla has long held animosity towards Harry due to several occasions in which he has publicly shaded her, especially in his memoirs. Number 7. Diana believed that Camilla was using her position to manipulate the British media and warned Prince Harry not to get too close to her. She stated multiple times in interviews and books that she thought Camilla was taking advantage of her position and warned the public not to be fooled by her. This is Diana's legacy, a warning about Camilla, one that still stands true today. Her words have become a call to remember that even royalty must be held accountable for their actions. If anything else, Princess Diana's warnings serve as an important reminder to always question authority, even if it's wearing a crown. Next up, Camilla's secret plot to become queen. When Queen Elizabeth was self-isolating due to her high-risk age and Prince Charles and Queen Camilla quarantining throughout that March, Prince William and wife Princess Catherine stepped up as the new face of the royal family. But a palace insider exclusively tells New Idea Royals that Camilla was in fact furious at her stepson and stepdaughter-in-law for taking over roles that were not rightfully theirs. The source claims that when Camilla called Kate to confront her about the situation, she accused her of the ultimate betrayal, going behind her back in an effort to steal the throne. Kate insisted it was out of her hands, and she revealed that Charles had agreed to abdicate after a series of talks with his mother, which led Camilla to give her husband an ultimatum. She told him if he let go of his chance to become king, well, he'll be letting go of her too. Number 5. Exposing the in-laws. Rumors suggest that Tom Parker Bowles and Queen Camilla are responsible for leaking stories about Prince William to UK newspapers. Tom allegedly aimed to ruin the future king's reputation to attract more people to his mother's coronation. There are rumors that Tom holds an influential position in a UK newspaper, which he has used to leak information about King Charles' eldest son for months. Camilla's reputation has also suffered, with Prince Harry suggesting her involvement in leaking information about him and Meghan Markle. Therefore, it would not be a far-fetched theory that she's using her son to leak information about William. Number 4, Camilla's many scandals. She has been involved in many scandals over the years. These include rumors of infidelity with King Charles while he was still married to Princess Diana, as well as speculation that she had an inappropriate relationship with former Prime Minister Tony Blair. These scandals have caused a lot of negative press for the royals and Queen Camilla, and they damaged the family's reputation. Her lifestyle and old lifestyle was completely different from that of other members of the royal family. She has been seen drinking in public and smoking cigarettes, which goes against the tradition of the royals. Such scandals did not sit well with public opinion and damaged the royal family's reputation. Next up, her relationship with Diana. It has long been speculated that Camilla had a hand in the demise of Charles and Diana's marriage, although evidence to support this claim is completely true. Nevertheless, some believe that she lied to Charles about the nature of her relationship with Diana to protect herself and her credibility. Apparently, Diana and Camilla were indeed good friends and had a pretty good relationship with each other. This was when Diana had no suspicion about Camilla and Charles's affair. It's like the saying, keep your friends close but keep your enemies closer. Whatever the truth may be, Charles probably never got the whole story from Camilla regarding her relationship with Diana. Number 2, William and Kate felt trapped by Charles and Camilla. Charles and Camilla had become so obsessed with their own official appearances that they were actively preventing William and Kate from getting the publicity they deserved. In fact, Charles and Camilla had taken to scolding them about it. This led to the royal couple feeling trapped and persecuted by both the press, Charles, and Camilla. And last but not least, at number 1, control over her stepchildren. Diana had strong opinions about Camilla's involvement with Prince William and Harry's lives. She professed that Camilla was attempting to manipulate the brothers and control their activities, including taking them on international trips and cutting off contact with the palace. Diana also expressed her belief that Camilla was using her influence over Prince Charles for her own gain, warning him to be wary of her. The media was abuzz with speculation surrounding Diana's comments, and the public was eager to find out if there was any truth behind them. In response, Camilla denied the accusations and asserted that her sole intention was to support the princes in their future roles as rulers. Charles publicly expressed his faith in Camilla's ability to advise his sons and showed his appreciation for her contribution to the royal family, declaring she was a true asset and deserving of his highest respect. Number 10, the infamous car chase. You may have heard about Harry and Meghan's big night in the city, but some accounts of their time here differ. According to the couple themselves, they suffered the ordeal of a 2-hour near catastrophic car chase with paparazzi tailing them all the way. But according to other sources, including the NYPD and the driver of the taxi, the truth was rather different. The fact is, we didn't even need the authorities to tell us that. Every New Yorker knows that any kind of car chase, let alone a 2-hour one, is literally impossible in the city. There's even video footage of the exchange showing that the Sussexes were accompanied by the NYPD and that they moved at no speed at all. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's car chase was not as catastrophic as originally described. So why lie? It is understandable if Harry fears the paparazzi and car chases in particular, but they don't need to invent such things to get sympathy from people. Number 9, Meghan has a history of using and disregarding family members, friends, and spouses. Meghan has a long list of disregarded friends, co-workers, and family members who have come forward to complain about how she used and discarded them. This includes her entire white family, her black family, the entire royal family, her spouse and her spouse's family, as well as her longtime friends, sorority sisters, and childhood. Number 8, abandoning family. When it comes to sharing potentially damaging information about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, not all Meghan Markle's family members are willing to be identified publicly. Now that Meghan and Prince Harry have decided to live a more private life in the United States, they are closer to Meghan's family. However, an unidentified family member told Fox News that Meghan won't contact relatives anytime soon to have playdates with their children. Archie and Lilibet, yes. Right after I also schedule a playdate with Oprah Winfrey's family, the source responded mockingly to the idea. We won't ever talk again because it's obvious that we come from different social classes. The insider also said that Meghan now thinks she is better than her own family and that they don't want a relationship with her if it's fake. The source stated, "You shouldn't have to be someone you're not or belong to a certain class to be loved and accepted. I am not chasing after a person who is unwilling to speak with me. My family is the love of my life and we couldn't be happier." A family member stated that Meghan's absence from her family is allegedly her choice. Nevertheless, they wished Harry and Meghan all the best with their growing family. Number 7, what Meghan wants, she gets. Critics of Meghan Markle have consistently accused her of being controlling and manipulative. She tends to dominate conversations and seek the limelight during interviews. Reports from staff who worked in the royal household have complained about instances of bullying from Meghan. Staff said she was demanding, sending requests either by email or text very early at 5 to 5:30 a.m. These claims were documented in an article published in The Times. Leaked emails authored by Jason Knopf, a former communications secretary at Kensington Palace, described the Duchess's behavior as totally unacceptable. Even before the wedding, it has been said she wanted to wear a certain tiara. This, to our understanding, is when Harry famously said, "What Meghan wants, she gets." They both were told no by Her Majesty the Queen. Number 6, identity crisis. Meghan Markle had never made her race an issue until she joined the royal family. She always believed and made others believe that she was white, enjoying the privileges that come with it. Despite having a Jamaican black mother, Meghan described herself as Caucasian in her 2013 profile. All of a sudden, Meghan in her self-promotion now identifies as African American because she wants to work and earn money, which contradicts the royal family's ethics that she married into. It's interesting how this suddenly became important to her once she left her Hollywood career for royal duties. Being a member of the royal family comes with its own sets of privileges, and it's not like being black has always been celebrated in their circles. We've all seen pictures of young Meghan with her curly hair and freckled nose, yet she has been passing as white for years. Now she wants to embrace her roots, reclaim her identity, and even capitalize on it. It's as if she suddenly remembered that being a person of color can also come with its own advantages. And why not take advantage while she still can? Number 5, Meghan's narcissistic behaviors. Narcissists are not able to admit that they are wrong, take accountability for their actions, or apologize. They always play the victim, blame others, or use excuses. Never once has Meghan apologized for her actions, admitting she was wrong, or taken accountability for the multiple times she has hurt people. She has never apologized to her family or friends for abandoning them, and has never admitted she was wrong for her hypocrisy or behavior. Meghan portrays herself as the ultimate victim. Everything she has ever done wrong is blamed on the press, the royal family, or because of her nationality, her gender, or her race. Any legitimate criticism is dismissed as people being hateful. Any claims of wrongdoing are people being sexist or racist. And any evidence of her hypocrisy is because of the evil British press. And anyone who dares to criticize her or make her look bad is toxic. While the British press has published some unfair articles about her, they have treated her fairly normally. It is not uncommon and is the same treatment given to every new member and every member of the royal family, all politicians and celebrities. Number 4, Meghan has used her partners to further her career, social status, and personal monetary gain. Meghan has a long history of using her partners to further her career, boost her social status, and benefit financially. Before Meghan met Prince Harry, a business associate of hers said Meghan asked to meet famous men to date. Meghan Markle's best friend said she was obsessed with becoming famous, that she used people to get what she wanted, and treated her first husband so terribly it ruined their 30-year friendship. To increase her opportunities, she married a Hollywood producer. Despite this, success remained hard to capture. As widely known, she secured a role in the series Suits. Later on, she coldly ended her marriage with the producer when she gained more celebrity status and started mingling with a more influential circle of acquaintances. In at number 3, faking a pregnancy. The conspiracy theory that Meghan Markle was using a prosthetic belly to fake her pregnancy began to gain traction online as her bump started becoming more visible. Supporters of the unfounded moon bump and Megxit hashtag claims suggested that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were concealing the truth from the public by allegedly using a surrogate mother. Reddit users allege that because she delivered Archie in a different hospital than Catherine, it would have been to cover up a surrogate. Also, in some of her prego pics, her baby bump slips up and down and changes sizes. The conspiracy theory revolves around the false theory that variously claimed Meghan used a surrogate, that her children with Prince Harry were not even hers, and in extreme cases that her children didn't even exist. And one of the women who created the conspiracy was recently handed back her Twitter account. Number 2, pre-planned divorce. Speaking to GB News, royal biographer Angela Levin claimed that Meghan had mapped out an escape plan long before she and Harry tied the knot. "I think she's a careful plotter," Levin said, adding that Meghan hasn't been around when Harry needs her the most, especially when it comes to dealing with his mental health. She went on to claim that Meghan is planning on taking full custody of their children once their marriage disintegrates, as well as a hefty amount of money for spousal support. "In my opinion, here is what she is doing. She was making sure that he's in a hopeless situation so that she can get the children and he's completely isolated from his family and friends," Levin told the outlet, adding she is absolutely separating from him. Angela has the opinion that should things end, Harry will be worse off. She speculated that he will be seen as a failure while Meghan continues to climb the ladder to Hollywood success. But let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below. And last but not least, at number 1, Meghan's influence. According to some folks like royal author Tom Bower, Meghan Markle is supposedly promoting Prince Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs. Bower described Meghan as pretty smart and suggested that she's successfully convincing many people that she was mistreated by the British royals, saying don't think for a second that she's not convincing quite a lot of people that somehow she was thrown to the wolves. It's no secret that Meghan has shown a short fuse from the start, and it seems like she's still holding on to her grievances against the British royals. While we can all understand losing it every now and then, it's crucial for Meghan to take a step back and face reality instead of playing the victim. Meghan has been accused of having excessive control over Harry during their royal tour in Africa, with some sources claiming that her agenda took priority. Meghan Markle has proven time and time again that she is not afraid to break away from tradition and do things her own way. But what do you think? Do these wild moments truly show Meghan's real character, or is there more to the story? First up, we have control. Diana had strong opinions about Camilla's involvement with Prince Harry and William's lives. She explained that Camilla was attempting to manipulate the brothers and control their activities, including taking them on international trips and cutting off contact with the palace. Diana also expressed her belief that Camilla was using her influence over Prince Charles for her own gain, warning him to be wary of her. The media was buzzing with speculation surrounding Diana's comments, and the public was eager to find out if there was any truth behind them. Number 9. Prince Harry and Camilla's relationship. Speaking to CNN's Anderson Cooper, who also appears on CBS 60 Minutes, Prince Harry revealed that both he and his brother Prince William initially opposed the marriage between their father, the king, and Camilla. They believed it would do more harm than good. However, they eventually came to accept the relationship, wanting their father to be happy. The Duke of Sussex added that Camilla was dangerous because she'd been cast as a villain by the press for her role in the collapse of his parents' marriage and needed to rehabilitate her image. That made her dangerous because of the connections that she was forging within the British press. And there was an open willingness on both sides to trade information. And with a family built on hierarchy and with her on the way to being queen consort, there was going to be people or bodies left in the street because of that, Prince Harry said. The CBS interview included a reference to Harry's memoir when he reportedly wrote about being sacrificed on Camilla's personal PR altar. By way of explanation, the Duke told Cooper, "If you are led to believe as a member of the family that being on the front page, having positive headlines, positive stories written about you, is going to improve your reputation or increase the chances of you being accepted as monarch by the British public, then that's what you're gonna do." Number 8. Baby Archie. A new book named Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsor claims that it was Camilla who made racist comments when Meghan Markle was pregnant with Archie. The book, written by Tom Bower, reveals that Camilla joked about it being funny if Harry had offspring born with a ginger afro. According to Bower, during the early weeks of their engagement, Harry had a conversation with Charles and Camilla at Clarence's house, which alternated between serious and joking and touched on different topics. First, Harry was told that Meghan should continue with her acting career, and lastly, Camilla speculated about what their future offspring would look like. In the famous interview with Oprah, Meghan disclosed that during the months she was pregnant, there were conversations about their son not being given security or a title, as well as concerns about how dark his skin might be when he's born. Number 7. That Minx. Camilla apparently wasn't a fan of Meghan Markle early in her relationship with Prince Harry. A royal author has now revealed an insulting name Camilla allegedly used for the Duchess of Sussex. Camilla allegedly used for the Duchess of Sussex. We know now that Meghan's intro to the royals didn't go so well. Tom Bower told The Sun that Camilla was not impressed and was the sort who would call Meghan that minx. Bower added the nickname means something like a self-seeking troublemaker whose antics will always end in tears. Number 6. The royal family didn't support Harry and Meghan. When Harry and Meghan decided to up and leave the royal family, it was a move that made headlines around the world. But what many people didn't know was that the couple had already offered to give up their Sussex titles without anyone in the family knowing about it. As always, Harry felt let down and alone by his family. Unfortunately for him, the press had gotten hold of some details he'd included in a private letter to his father. So much for privacy. Number 5. Charles and Camilla wanted Kate to change her name to Catherine with a K. Charles and Camilla had a strange request for their daughter-in-law Kate at the time. When it was announced that the royal family would welcome her as one of their own, they insisted that she change the spelling of her name from Catherine with a C to Catherine with a K in order to avoid any confusion or overlap with the existing C names of Charles and Camilla. Despite the unusual suggestion, Kate decided to stay true to her roots by sticking with Catherine with a C after all. However, as you can imagine, the couple still managed to find a way to work around the issue. From then on, they lovingly began calling her by her nickname, Kate, instead. Number 4. William and Kate felt trapped by Charles and Camilla, and the press. Harry confessed. Charles and Camilla had become so obsessed with their own official appearances that they were actively preventing William and Kate from getting the publicity they deserved. In fact, Charles and Camilla had even taken to scolding them about it. This led to the royal couple feeling trapped and persecuted by both the press and Charles as well as Camilla. At one point during a summit between the four royals, William confessed to someone that he had let it slip at dinner with Charles and Camilla that there was a feud between the two couples. And sure enough, soon there were stories in newsrooms everywhere about Harry and Meghan. Later, Harry and William had proof. Reporters inside actual newsrooms assured them a woman on Charles's communications team was selling them out. When William confronted his father about it, he simply replied that if his grandmother could have her own person, then why couldn't he? He was clearly referring to a team member of the Queen's known for planting stories. Number 3, her relationship with Diana. Some people believe that she lied to Charles about the nature of her relationship with Diana in order to protect herself and her own credibility. Apparently, Diana and Camilla were indeed good friends and had a pretty good relationship with each other. This was when Diana had no suspicion about Camilla and Charles's affair. Whatever the truth may be, it is likely that Charles never got the whole story from Camilla regarding her relationship with Diana. Number 2, the royals are liars. While Meghan's image has faced criticism from the media and the public, she firmly believes that the royal family and Camilla played a significant role in tarnishing her reputation by spreading false information. In her interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan expressed her disbelief at the expectation that she and Prince Harry would remain silent despite the royal institution's active involvement in perpetuating lies about them. She acknowledged that speaking out comes with risks, including potential losses, but made it clear that much has already been lost due to the circumstances. And last but not least, at number 1, Camilla's odd response when asked about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The British monarchy really felt the impact when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced they were stepping away from their senior royal roles. It caused a huge public feud between Harry and other members of the royal family, especially his brother William and his father Charles. At the 40th anniversary of Prospect Hospice, Swindon, a reporter shouted to Camilla, "Will you miss Harry and Meghan?" Her response was so telling and awkward. She paused, gave a thin smile, and said, "Course," before quickly leaving. It confused everyone, not just because of what she said, but also what she didn't say. People on Twitter were quick to comment on the uncomfortable exchange, pointing out the mismatch between Camilla's words and body language. Number 10, the aftermath of the docuseries. Harry and Meghan's comments and royal attacks during their docuseries were crazy, with one TV host even suggesting they constituted treason. GB News host Nana Aku was so outraged that she called for a national referendum to get the couple stripped of all their titles, including Harry's birthright as a prince. She called the docuseries disgraceful, adding, "I would go as far to say that they are committing treason." The host was angry that Meghan made it all about race, claiming the only reason why people don't like this woman is frankly because of the way she behaved. In a gutless, roundabout way, Prince Harry has just accused Prince William of bullying him out of the royal family. This Netflix series isn't just a delusional fantasy of victimhood, it's the end of his relationship with his own brother, he tweeted. Number 9, changing of Harry's views. Replacing your partner's beliefs, political views, and opinions with your own is something we've seen happen in Harry and Meghan's relationship. Before meeting Meghan Markle, Prince Harry never showed much interest in being politically active in feminism, women's rights, immigration policy, and race and gender policies. Prince Harry only speaks the same opinions as his wife, and many reporters who have known him for decades say he sounds nothing like himself. Meghan's friends even reported she writes his speeches for him. Harry himself reported his wife changed his eating and drinking habits, and she changed Harry's hobbies from hunting and polo to her own. Meghan also banned and removed many of Harry's old friends from his friend group and replaced them with her own, and now has convinced Harry to give up his entire career, country, family, and friends to fit her wants and needs. In at number 8, crying on demand. Meghan revealed how she honed her acting ability to turn on fake tears. The 2014 video filmed at Soho House in Toronto, where her legal drama Suits was made, shows Meghan boasting that she can shed a tear for the camera in 3 seconds. Asked by someone behind the camera if she can make herself cry, Meghan says, "Oh, I can do that so well. It's crazy." They're like, "Meghan, 1 tear, left eye, go." She adds, "Give me 3 seconds." That delivery was shit. Social media users are asking whether Meghan's distress in the Netflix teaser is real. One Twitter user wrote, "I swear Meghan asked her magic mirror who is the fairest of them all, and it said Kate, so she lost her mind." Meghan Markle was and is an actress. Not a great one, just passable, but she can make herself cry at the drop of a hat. Number 7, the first date coincidence. We all know their love story began with a blind date set up by a mutual friend. But what are the chances that this friend just happened to be one of Meghan's co-stars on Suits? Did Meghan orchestrate this whole thing? We'll never know for sure, but it does seem a little too convenient. Meghan mentioned not knowing anything about Harry or his family prior to their first meeting, and we just find that a little bit too hard to believe. It was later revealed that she was not only a fan of Princess Diana, but she had closely followed the philanthropic work and compassion exhibited by the late princess. In fact, Meghan Markle had even attended a party in Princess Diana's honor, where she learned more about the royal world and its traditions. Now, she's never confirmed that, but her friends say she has always had a fascination with the royals. According to certain sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. Number 6, fake smile, fake everything. From the beginning, Meghan seemed to have a perfect smile plastered on her face whenever she was in public, but we've seen from more recent interviews and documentaries that that smile may not have been genuine. In fact, it seems like everything about her was carefully curated for the public eye, from her outfits to her attitude. Her approach to media appearances seemed similar to those of celebrities rather than royals, something that may have been overlooked by too many people. Meghan Markle, despite being all about equality, can sometimes seem a bit too obsessed with her own and her family's social status. Number 5, separating Harry from his family. It is clear that neither Meghan nor Harry had to leave England to step back from public life and quit the royal family. Harry did not have to be separated from his friends, family, and everything he knew. According to reports, Meghan gave Harry an ultimatum, forcing him to choose between her and Archie. Harry himself expressed that he had no other option but to leave his country and loved ones to fulfill her desires. Meghan threatened to leave Harry with their children and made him sacrifice everything for her own gain. All she wanted was the money and the crown until she realized that she married the wrong prince and wasn't getting the crown. She then created horror stories that were so bad because they were all lies and fabricated tales making her look like a victim, so she fled to Canada. In our number 4 spot, shapeshifter. Meghan Markle will have no trouble transitioning to life outside of the royal family, according to Shanann Giovanni, a former friend of the Duchess of Sussex. Giovanni, who knew Meghan through Toronto's social circles while she was filming Suits, believes that Meghan's adaptability and ability to reinvent herself will serve her well as she and Prince Harry prepare to officially step down from their royal duties and start living financially independently in California. Number 3, the iconic Oprah interview. Oprah's headline-making interview of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry was nothing less than explosive. Interview Meghan said she endured constant life-ending thoughts and that no one in the palace would help her. She and Harry said a royal family member expressed concerns about how dark baby Archie's skin color might be. Harry said his father, Charles, wouldn't take his phone calls for a while and cut him off from royal money. Number 2, rushed engagement. The couple, who reportedly started dating in July 2016, knew each other for less than a year when Harry popped the question, and it happened at least 4 months before their announcement. This would mean that Meghan had already agreed to Harry when her famous interview with Vanity Fair was published, in which she confirmed that her relationship with Harry was serious. According to Lowe, the reason why the couple didn't announce their engagement earlier was because they wanted it to be a secret. And last but not least, at number 1, the lies. Meghan Markle tears up over how hard she worked to fit in before stepping from her royal duties in January 2020. "I tried so hard," the Suits alumni says in the second half of Harry and Meghan, which dropped on Netflix. "That's the piece that's so triggering," she continues, "because it still wasn't good enough and you still don't fit in." Meghan describes leaving England, saying in the docuseries that a man overseeing the plane's crew took off his hat and shared his appreciation for everything she did for the country. When the couple landed in Canada, Meghan said she collapsed into the arms of one of Prince Harry's longtime security guards.
Number 10, the gagging order. Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela Kelly, has been presented with a new grace and favor home in the north of England after she was forced out of her Windsor Digs-On agreement that she won't reveal any more royal secrets. A source told the Mail that the agreement was essentially a gagging order, preventing Kelly from using the words king and palace for commercial purposes. Kelly was expected to write a third book about her royal role, but the Mail says the agreement may be imping on, if not outright torpedo that. Charles, the paper says, wants to both honor his late mother's wishes by providing Kelly with a home while stopping the leak of any more royal dish. It looks like Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela, has landed herself in a bit of a pickle. After being ousted from her cozy digs at Windsor Castle, she was presented with a new home up north on the condition that she keeps her mouth shut about all things royal. Poor Angela, I can only imagine how tempting it must be to spill some juicy royal secrets about the family, but hey, at least she's got a new place to call home. And let's not forget about the added bonus of having one less mouth to feed at Windsor Castle. Rumor has it that this agreement is essentially a gagging order, preventing her from using words like king and palace for her own financial gain, so I guess we won't be seeing a third book anytime soon. Number 9, distant mother. Being a queen of England while also being a mom had to have been a tough road to travel, and it's highly likely Queen Elizabeth did her best. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding, and for Elizabeth's children, it seems that pudding was a bit stale. Let's start with King Charles. He famously described his relationship with his mother as being distant, which is British for we barely know each other. Ouch. And to make matters worse, according to sources close to the Queen, she preferred her husband, Prince Philip, over their children. Talk about playing favorites. But it's not just King Charles who felt the chill from his mother. Her daughter, Princess Anne, has said that growing up with the Queen as a mom was a bit of a challenge, and we all know British people are masters at using understatement to describe their true feelings. Even the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, has admitted that his mother wasn't exactly the warm and fuzzy type of parent. In an interview, he said, "My parents were far more dedicated to their work than they were to me." Ouch again. So what's a distant mom like? Well, for one thing, it means missing out on important milestones in your children's lives. The Queen famously didn't attend any of her children's births. Instead, she sent someone else to represent her. Talk about being busy. And as for quality time with the kids, it seems that wasn't high on the Queen's priority list either. In fact, King Charles once said he could count on one hand the number of times he and his mother had a one-on-one conversation. That's not exactly the recipe for a close relationship. Number 8, Princess Diana. The top secret revealed by Diana back in '95 when the princess agreed to sit down with BBC's Martin Bashir for an exclusive interview. In the interview, Diana opened up about her marriage to Charles and her experiences with the royal family, and admitted she also had an affair during her marriage. She also revealed that Charles's long affair with Camilla made her feel worthless, but it wasn't just this shocking admission that made the interview a sensation. It was Diana's raw honesty and vulnerability. She broke the mold of being a stoic, composed princess and instead showed her human side, one that struggled with mental health issues and felt trapped in a loveless marriage. The interview was unprecedented for someone of her royal status, where appearances are everything and emotions are to be kept in check. The impact of this interview was far-reaching, causing a media frenzy, sparking conversations about the royal family's treatment of Diana, and it also brought attention to mental health issues and shed light on the pressures faced by those in the public eye. Diana's bravery in speaking her truth ultimately led to changes within the royal family and society as a whole. Today, Diana's legacy lives on as a humanitarian and fashion icon. Her charity work and advocacy for important causes such as landmines and HIV/AIDS continue to inspire others to make a difference. And her iconic style is still emulated by many, proving that she truly was a timeless fashion icon. Number 7, preventing Meghan from visiting the Queen. New details about the drama surrounding who was ultimately with the late Queen for her final hours, and why Meghan Markle's rift with the family meant Kate Middleton had to stay home. According to the Daily Telegraph, Kate reluctantly stayed back as William raced to Balmoral amid news the monarch's health was failing, traveling on a private jet with his uncles Andrew and Edward, along with Edward's wife Sophie. Did Kate really have to stay back? Or was she just avoiding another round of royal drama? We'll never know for sure, but it definitely is not a bad idea. After all, who wants to be stuck in a castle with their sister-in-law when tensions are high? But let's be real, we all know the real reason Kate stayed back. She didn't want to be caught in the middle of another fight between Meghan and the Queen. Can you imagine being stuck in a car with those two driving through the Scottish countryside? And let's not forget the fact that there were already rumors swirling about Meghan and Harry's rocky relationship with the royal family. The last thing Kate needed was to add fuel to the fire by being there in person. Plus, she's got 3 kids at home to take care of. It's not like she could just drop everything and fly off to Scotland at a moment's notice. Number 6, secret room. All historic buildings have their secrets, and Westminster Abbey is no exception. Dating back to 1245, when King Harry III selected it as his burial site, the Abbey has spaces that the royals occupy, but that remains unknown to the masses. One of these has recently been revealed to a select few. There's a hidden room located in the Parliament's Speaker's quarters, which the monarch traditionally sleeps in on the night before their coronation in Westminster. But why is it a secret room? Is it because it holds royal treasures or forbidden knowledge? No. The real reason is much more mundane. It's simply used as extra storage space for cleaning supplies and equipment. Imagine that, the place where kings and queens prepare to take on their reign being filled with mops and buckets. However, despite this lack of grandeur, this secret room has served a vital purpose in the past. During World War II, it was used as an air raid shelter for members of the royal family and government officials. It's not often that a janitorial closet saves lives, but during those tumultuous times, it provided refuge from enemy bombings. And while it may not hold any hidden treasures or mystical secrets that we know of, the room itself has a rich history and adds to the intrigue of Westminster Abbey. It's a reminder that even in the most prestigious places, there are still hidden corners and lesser-known stories waiting to be discovered. Number 5, hiding details about wealth. Far from opening the royal family's wealth, inherited or otherwise, to scrutiny, astonishingly, there appears to be no study of this topic. The Queen successfully lobbied the government to change a draft law in order to conceal her embarrassing private wealth from the public. Hey, don't blame Queenie. We all have those embarrassing moments in our lives that we wanted to keep hidden from the world. However, it was quite ironic that the same queen who demands transparency and honesty from her subjects is not willing to practice what she preaches. And let's not forget about the royal family's tax exemptions and huge expenses on luxurious lifestyles. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. Queen Elizabeth had been reigning for over 68 years and had managed to keep herself out of any major scandal or controversy. That definitely requires some skillful maneuvering and a good PR team. All jokes aside, the issue of transparency in the royal family is not something to be taken lightly. As citizens, we do have the right to know how our taxes are being spent and if there are any conflicts of interest within the monarchy. Number 4, affairs. The late Princess Diana and King Charles had a pretty rocky relationship, and it was never hard to see the lack of chemistry and affection in the couple, sadly enough. Diana was torn after finding out about the long affair Charles was having with Camilla. However, it seems like affairs have been a trend in the royal family for quite some time. Queen Elizabeth's own sister, Princess Margaret, had her fair share of scandalous affairs that shook the monarchy back in the day. But what is it about royalty that seems to attract affairs? Is it the pressure of a loveless marriage, the constant media scrutiny, or maybe it's just the allure of forbidden fruit? We'll never know. Number 3, Charles's relationship problems. We all know the relationship between Diana and Charles was no secret, so when the news about them breaking up finally went public, many people became interested in them as individuals and as a failed marriage. Number 2, Camilla. According to King Charles's biographer who spoke with Newsweek Royal Report podcast, Queen Elizabeth always detested Camilla and only agreed to give her blessing for the royal to be known as Queen Consort because of an unspoken deal behind the scenes. And I wonder what that was. Camilla, who is now Queen Camilla, first met Charles in the 70s, and the two were in and out of relationships ever since. Charles admitted to adultery when his marriage became irrevocably broken down in 1981. And finally, number 1, tax fraud. The family has been exposed numerous times and have been dealing with a number of issues, one of which is tax fraud. The late Queen was once exposed for concealing her embarrassing wealth from the public, which may or may not come as a surprise. It was alleged that Queen Elizabeth's private attorney pressed ministers to modify proposed legislation to prevent the public from learning about her shareholdings. Even though the Queen's actual holdings were never made public, we can only assume they were in the hundreds of millions of pounds range. Starting off with number 10, getting the press on her side. The Queen, Camilla, appears to have made a conscious effort to woo the very press that had made her life hell for over a decade, displaying her strength and intelligence. According to Penny Juror, royal biographer, she was seen out and about with Charles as soon as she got married, and when people met her, they were surprised by how warm, friendly, and funny she was. She impressed them. Furthermore, on the grounds that she was agreeable to the press and accommodating to paparazzi, they composed cordial things about her and distributed great photos, and slowly the general visibility of her changed. The simple, cherishing connection among Camilla and Charles was likewise obvious during their public appearances, a long way from Charles and Diana's stressed last trips. In an interview for the documentary Our Queen, Charles spoke of her with pride after a trip to Papua New Guinea. Staff at the palace claimed that Camilla also makes it easier to work for Charles, who is known for his irritability and outbursts. It is thought that Camilla has transformed Charles, allowing him to be more joyful with her than ever. She gives him certainty and the help he has so frantically required all through his life and never really found somewhere else. Number 9, the coronation. Queen Camilla solidified her inheritance inside the English royal family when she was crowned alongside King Charles. Although they've been married since 2005, their love story is not exactly a royal fairy tale like those that have been romanticized. It has been characterized by a complicated past that began long before Camilla and the king exchanged wedding vows. Camilla's relationship with King Charles, as the celebrated justification for his separation from Princess Diana, shook the imperial boat, and she long battled with public acknowledgement. Anyway, after some time, she did start to gain the public approval. Number 8, control. Diana claimed that Camilla was trying to control Prince Harry and William's lives, taking them on international trips and cutting off their contact with the palace. Diana also accused Camilla of causing a rift between the brothers and said they'd been hurt by her behavior. She believed Camilla was manipulating Prince Charles to further her own agenda and warned him not to trust her. Diana's comments caused a storm in the media, with many people questioning Camilla's influence over the royal family. In response, Camilla denied all accusations and claimed she was only interested in helping Prince William and Harry succeed in their roles as future kings. Charles also spoke out on the issue, stating that he had full confidence in Camilla's ability to help guide his sons, and went on to say that she was a true asset. Number 7, unfit for the King of England. Charles and Camilla first met in the 70s, and the prince fell in love right away after they were introduced by friends. And even though they shared a strong bond, Camilla accepted the proposal from her on and off boyfriend Andrew Parker Bowles after the prince was set off with the Royal Navy in 1973. Even if things had turned out well for the two of them, the palace didn't think Camilla would make a good fit for the king, since she didn't come from an aristocratic family, which was very important back then. Number 6, notorious mistress. According to Morton and Camilla's biographer Penny Juror, who described Camilla as the most notorious mistress in the world, Diana and Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's husband, were aware of the affair. In 1986, Diana also started a series of affairs, one of which was with the cavalry officer James Hewitt. During a 1995 meeting, Diana confessed to the affair, saying she revered and was enamored with Hewitt, as indicated by Town and Nation magazine. Around 1991, the relationship ended. The public perception of Camilla was incredibly negative following Charles and Diana's divorce. Even before the royal divorce, questions linger about Charles's future relationships, as the Church of England did not permit divorced people to remarry so long as their previous spouse was still living. Camilla was also not a suitable candidate due to her divorce. Reporters who covered the royals at the time speculated whether Charles would inflict Camilla on the country as queen, calling it an unwelcome prospect. Charles wanted to introduce Camilla to the world as his girlfriend shortly after the divorce, an effort that was waylaid by Diana's tragic passing in '97. Number 5, the phone call transcripts. In the wake of the separation announcement, multiple media outlets published the Tampon-Gate tape transcript. Some outlets referred to the tape as Camilla-Gate in reference to Charles's mistress. Others speculated whether the tape would prevent Charles from someday ascending to the throne. The public was so interested that people could call a phone number to listen to the tape of the actual phone call. A full transcript of the call depicts Charles and Camilla playing the age-old lover's game of refusing to hang up the phone on one another at the end of the call. Number 4, the royal family versus Camilla. Even though Charles and Camilla's relationship was very serious, Camilla was viewed negatively by the royals. But Diana was received with open arms. Badal Smith claims that Charles had always treated Camilla, who was Charles's age at the time, while Diana was 13 years younger, as an equivalent rather than an idol from the beginning. However, Camilla was not wanted by the royal family as his princess. She was thought to be an experienced woman, which made her a no-go for the royal family when it came to finding Charles a wife. On top of that, she wasn't aristocratic enough. It's no secret or surprise that Diana's 2 sons never truly accepted Camilla once Charles brought her into the family. And although William might be less vocal about his opinion on her, especially as the future king, Harry never held back. He explained that after marrying Prince Charles, Camilla sought a revamp and was dubbed the villain by the British press. And because of the connection she was making within the press, that made her dangerous. Number 3, monarchy's secret weapon. Camilla has also proved herself to be a hard worker and a secret weapon for a monarchy low on top-tier royals available for public service. She is now the patron of more than 90 charities and has a camaraderie with the public few other royals can claim. She's pretty chatty with the public and makes them feel instantly at ease, often making a joke or telling them, for example, that her feet are killing her. The normal sort of exchanges that normal people would have. Also, she is willing to get her hands dirty. In November 2021, Catherine Johnstone, Commander of the Order of the British Empire and Chief Executive of Royal Voluntary Services, of which Camilla is president, told Hello about a time Camilla was serving meals at one of its lunch clubs. One of the older diners with sight issues asked whether the Duchess would cut up her food, and Her Royal Highness immediately started cutting up her meal without hesitation. Camilla's choice of patronages has also shown her to not be the blithe country girl that she often seemed to be. She has highlighted the often taboo subjects of domestic violence and assault. On to number 2, drinking problem. King Charles is said to be on high alert regarding Camilla's drinking issues, which have gotten him into a lot of trouble. Charles had already persuaded his mother not to push him aside in favor of his son William and Kate, and began by describing some trust issues that exist between Charles and Camilla. Camilla wasn't satisfied with the title of Princess Consort, which Charles had promised to her when they got married in 2005. She has always aspired to be queen. Her Majesty did not approve until Charles allegedly pulled out his ace card. This put Charles on red alert about Queen Camilla's excessive drinking. And before coming to a conclusion, the informant stated he knows Camilla is a loose cannon who's fallen off the wagon many times before and caused him untold embarrassment. And finally, number 1, blindsided princes. It's said that William and Harry were blindsided by their late grandmother's decision to approve of Camilla's title as queen consort. According to Christopher Anderson, a royal expert and author, the decision was driving a wedge within the royal family. Although it is said that William and Harry are now friendly with Camilla, Charles, their father, has a long history of having an affair with her in the 80s and 90s while he was still married to their mother, Princess Diana. In the end, Charles and Diana split up in '92 and divorced in '96, and Charles and Camilla tied the knot in 2005, and Diana passed away in a car accident in 1997. According to Anderson, who spoke with the publication, she was begrudgingly letting him do this, and one of the key elements was she promised Camilla would never be called queen consort. Her Majesty was miserable during Charles's second marriage ceremony. He says the late queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. However, through her dedication and loyalty to the firm, she has more than proved to her that she has what it takes. Camilla grew closer to Elizabeth, upped her game, and accepted additional responsibilities willingly. After the Queen's longtime husband and consort Prince Philip passed away in April, Anderson claimed that Charles was relentlessly pushing for Camilla to become Queen Consort. Number 10, not caring to learn about the royal life. Within an interview with Oprah, Meghan claims she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Prince Harry. The idea of being part of a royal family was not something she ever dreamt about or fantasized. In fact, she claims she knew very little about it. But let's be real here, how many of us actually know what it's like to be a royal? Unless you're secretly related to the Queen and didn't know it, in which case, please invite me to your next family gathering. Chances are you have no idea what goes on behind closed palace doors. But seriously, Meghan's confession about not knowing much about the royal life is refreshing. It's not every day we see a person join one of the most elite families in the world and openly admit to being clueless about it. And let's not forget, Meghan was an American actress before becoming a duchess. I highly doubt her acting career prepared her for walking into Buckingham Palace or attending fancy state dinners with foreign dignitaries. I mean, can you imagine taking acting classes and suddenly being thrown into a real-life fairy tale? It's like going from kindergarten to Harvard without any prior warning. But hey, at least Meghan had some experience wearing fancy gowns and walking red carpets. That's more than what most of us have under our belts. And let's not forget, she also had to learn royal etiquette. Number 9, speaking of royal etiquette, Meghan's mockery. Now, as many know, there is a scene in the series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. Ah, the royal traditions. Those weird and wonderful customs that have been passed down from generation to generation within the British monarchy. Some might find it endearing, others might find it absurd, but Meghan Markle, she found it hilarious. In a scene from the series The Crown, we see Meghan trying to perfect her curtsy in preparation for meeting Queen Elizabeth. However, her attempt was more of a parody than an actual curtsy. And honestly, I can't blame her for finding it ridiculous. The idea of having to bend one's knee and dip their head in front of another person just because they were born into a certain family is a bit absurd. But hey, we all have our traditions and customs that might seem odd to outsiders. For the British monarchy, it's the curtsy and many other protocols that must be followed strictly. And let's not forget, Meghan is a Hollywood actress who is used to walk in red carpets and posing for cameras. The idea of having the curtsy in front of someone just because they have a fancy title probably seemed quite comical to her. Number 8, the Oprah interview. After the infamous interview dropped back in 2021, the couple had been accused of prolific lying, with lies being told about racism amongst other things. People can't help but wonder what is the truth and what is being exaggerated. In case you missed the interview, let me catch you up. Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah to discuss their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. From mental health struggles to lack of support from the institution, the couple revealed some shocking revelations. However, since then there have been conflicting reports about what actually went down in the interview. But let's be honest, who doesn't exaggerate a little? Whether it's about how many calories we ate for lunch or how much we spent on those shoes, humans have a tendency to add a bit of spice to their stories. And let's not even get started on our social media feeds, where everything is filtered and curated to make our lives appear more glamorous than they actually are. So can we really blame Meghan and Harry for exaggerating the truth? After all, it's not like they were under oath during the interview. And let's be real, is anyone surprised that there may have been some embellishment in their story? They're celebrities after all, and drama sells. Number 7, breaking protocols. Here's an extensive list of times where Meghan simply has broken royal protocols for whatever reason. Wearing black nail polish. According to traditional royal protocol, only nude or light colored nail polish is allowed. However, Meghan has been spotted numerous times sporting black nail polish, breaking this rule and adding a touch of edginess to her look. Hugging people. Royals are known for their formal etiquette and rarely engage in public displays of affection, but Meghan, being the warm and affectionate person that she is, has been caught hugging members of the public on multiple occasions, much to the surprise and delight of those around her. Crossing her legs, the Duchess slant is a pose used by royal women when sitting in public. It involves crossing the ankles and keeping the knees together, but Meghan has been seen crossing her legs at various events, showing that she's not afraid to break away from traditional protocols. Signing autographs. It is a strict rule for royals to never give out their autographs in order to prevent forgery. However, during an official visit to Ireland, Meghan broke this protocol and signed a young fan's notebook with the words "Love Meghan," much to the excitement of the young girl. Number 6, brainwashed prince. Harry has been called an unintelligent man who has been brainwashed by his wife into a rift with the royal family. Royal expert Tom Bower made sensational comments against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex ahead of the release of Harry's bombshell memoir and the couple's Netflix docuseries. It seems like our beloved Harry has been accused of being brainwashed. Now, I don't know about you, but that image of someone scrubbing away at his precious royal brain with a sponge is quite comical. But let's take a step back and look at this accusation seriously for a moment. Is it really possible for someone to be brainwashed into a rift with their own family? Or is this just another attempt to discredit Harry and his wife Meghan? Let's not forget that the royal family has a long history of controlling their image and silencing any dissent. So it wouldn't be surprising if they were trying to paint Harry as a poor victim, manipulated by a cunning American actress. Cue dramatic music, please. But let's be real, Harry is a grown man with his own thoughts and opinions, and if he has chosen to distance himself from the royal family, it's more likely because he wants to break free from their restrictive traditions and expectations. Number 5, playing victim. Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs are being peddled by Meghan Markle, according to some people, including royal author Tom Bower, who said that while speaking to American journalist Megyn Kelly. He started by branding the American very clever and added, "Don't think for a moment that she's not convincing quite a lot of people that somehow she was thrown to the wolves." Of course, that's completely untrue. Well. Looks like the drama never ends for the royals. We thought we were done with the whole Megxit saga, but apparently not. According to royal author Tom Bower, Meghan is trying to play the victim and convincing people that she was thrown to the wolves. Sure, Meghan may be very clever, as Bower put it, but let's not forget that she was a Hollywood actress before joining the royal family. And as we all know, actors are pretty good at playing different roles and convincing people of their characters. So, is this latest act just another role for Meghan to play? It's no secret that there has been tension between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family, but to paint herself as a victim in this situation seems a bit far-fetched. As Bower mentioned, Meghan might not have been thrown to the wolves, but rather chose to leave behind her royal duties and responsibilities. But let's give credit where it's due. Meghan has certainly caused quite a stir with her and Harry's decision to step back as senior royals, and while some may see it as a bold move, others may view it as a calculated plan to gain more control and freedom in their lives. Number 4, issues with the fam. As we've seen the Duchess of Sussex become one of the most watched women in the world, we've also seen everything Meg has done and all the fair and unfair criticism she has been receiving. From her fashion choices to her activism, she has become a controversial figure in the public eye. But let's not forget that behind all the drama and tabloids, there is a real woman with a real family. And just like any other person, she too has issues with her fam. For starters, we have to acknowledge that being part of the royal family is not easy. Being a modern, independent woman in the royal family, even harder. Meg has had to navigate through the traditional and strict rules of the monarchy while also staying true to herself and her beliefs. And we all know how difficult it can be to please our family members, so imagine trying to please an entire nation. But beyond her struggles within the royal family, Meghan has also had to deal with her own family issues, from estranged relationships with her father and half-siblings to being constantly hounded by the media. It's clear Meg's family is not your average picture-perfect bunch. And while some may criticize her for not having a close-knit family, let's not forget that we all have our own challenges and struggles when it comes to family dynamics. It's not an easy feat to maintain strong relationships with all our relatives, especially when personal and public pressures come into play. Number 3, Fab 4 breakup. The chaotic timeline of Harry and Meghan's relationship caused a lot more kinds of news stories. While sources told us that things went well when Harry introduced Meghan to William and Kate in January 2017, things took a turn when the eldest brother felt they were moving too fast. Harry was pissed off when William suggested he was blindsided by lust. William reportedly told his brother to take as much time as you need to get to know this girl, which upset Harry. But Harry didn't let that stop him from pursuing his love for Meghan. In November 2017, they announced their engagement and the world went wild. From romantic photo ops to extravagant weddings, It seemed like a fairy tale come to life, but little did we know cracks were already starting to form. The two faced backlash for breaking royal protocol when Meghan's family was not invited to the wedding, and when Meghan wore a dress that showed her shoulders at a royal event. But these were just small bumps in the road compared to what was to come. On to number 2, making headlines. There were reports at the time that palace staff didn't trust Meghan. While one staffer reportedly said she comes with a lot of baggage, another employee was allegedly referring to her as Harry's showgirl. Yikes! Doesn't seem like many took a liking to Meg when she arrived. And finally, number 1, speaking of mistreating staff. Leading up to the Oprah interview, the Times reported accusations that Meghan mistreated her palace aides and staff prior to the 2020 exit. While Meghan denied the allegations, noting in a statement to us in March 2021 that she was saddened by the latest attack on her character, the palace revealed they were investigating the claims. Number 10, mental health lies. Princess Diana's former chief of staff has blasted King Charles's former courtiers for spreading lies that she was mentally ill. Patrick Jeffson, who worked closely alongside Diana for 8 years, alleges that Charles's staff smeared his first wife in a systematic campaign while it was an open secret within the establishment that he was having an affair with longtime mistress Camilla. Jeffson said this is not just some casual gossip, it was a systematic campaign. Okay, it was a long time ago, but the man they were supporting is now our king, and these things should not be buried. They should not be conveniently pushed to one side. As if the royal family didn't have enough drama already, it seems like they can't escape the ongoing feud between the late Princess Diana and now King Charles. According to Jeffson, it wasn't just a one-sided affair, but rather a coordinated effort by Charles's team to discredit Diana and her mental well-being. But let's take a step back for a moment, shall we? Diana was known to be an outspoken and independent woman who captured the hearts of the public. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind and stand up for what she believed in, even if it went against royal tradition. So why would anyone paint her as mentally unstable? Could it be that the monarchy couldn't handle a strong-willed princess who refused to conform to their expectations? Or was it simply a way to justify Charles's infidelity and save the monarchy from further scandal? Number 9, secretive. There have been growing calls for an end to royal secrecy in recent months, with historians, campaigners, and journalists demanding greater access to the official records of the UK's head of state. That secrecy has been compared unfavorably to MI5, with the royals having an absolute exemption from the Freedom of Information Act while squirreling away thousands of official records in their archives in Windsor. There is a reason why the monarchy is more secretive than our secret services. It has plenty to hide. It's not unreasonable to conclude that the institution is corrupt if corruption is the abuse of public office for personal gain. Whether it's using tens of millions of pounds each year to cover costs such as travel or palatial homes, or lobbying the government in pursuit of their private interests or political agendas, the royals exploit their status and position week in, week out. But let's be real. Who wouldn't want to live in a palace and have all their expenses covered by the taxpayers? We can only imagine the expense reports for King Charles's designer suits or late Queen Elizabeth's extensive hat collection. Number 10, the ethnicity debate. Imagine this. You have all along believed that you are white, made people believe that you are white, and enjoy the white privilege because it suits you, and that is what you want to be. This is what you proclaim to be, despite the fact that your mom is a full-fledged Jamaican and black. Meghan described herself in her 2013 profile as Caucasian. A self-aggrandizing Meghan is now black because she wants to work and earn money, which is contrary to the ethics of the royal family, which she married into. She first fell out with the royal family because she lobbied and won a voice makeover for a film premiere in London, the Disney documentary The Elephant. Obviously the payout was huge, reported to be $50,000 per episode. She was disappointed when Queen Elizabeth informed her that the money would be donated to a charity because the British royal family are fully maintained by the state and only perform official state duties. But let's not talk about the money, because we all know that's a sensitive topic for Meghan. Instead, let's talk about her ethnicity. It's quite interesting how it suddenly became important to her when she was no longer a Hollywood starlet and had to give up acting for royal duties. We've all seen the pictures of little Meghan with her curly hair and freckled nose, and yet she's been passing off as white for years. Can you blame her? Being a member of the royal family comes with its own sets of privileges, and it's not like being black has always been celebrated in their circles. But now she wants to embrace her roots, claim her true identity, and even use it to make some money at Netflix. It's like she suddenly remembered that being a person of color can also come with some perks, and why not take advantage of it while she still can? Number 9, the car chase. You may have heard about Harry and Meghan's big night in the city of New York. Accounts of their time here differ. According to the couple themselves, they suffered the ordeal of a 2-hour near catastrophic car chase with paparazzi tailing them all the way. According to other sources, including the NYPD and the driver of the taxi, the couple changed into to look humbler. The truth was rather different. The fact is, we didn't need the authorities to tell us that. Every New Yorker knows that any kind of car chase, let alone a 2-hour one, is literally impossible in that city. You can sit in traffic for 2 hours, sure, but actually racing through the city? Sorry, but no. Every New Yorker can call out that as BS. There's even video footage of the exchange showing that the Sussexes were accompanied by the NYPD and that they moved at no speed at all. Prince Harry and Meghan's car chase was not as catastrophic as originally described. In fact, they were moving so slowly that their driver got out of the car at one point. So why lie? It's understandable if Harry fears the paparazzi and car chases in particular, but he doesn't need to make things up to get sympathy from people over the passing of his mom. But in Harry and Meghan land, nothing can be done without drama, exaggeration, or lies. They are the most privacy-seeking publicity seekers that even any city has ever seen, so New York was the wrong city for Meghan and Harry to set their big scene, because most likely it was all staged for the next installment of their Netflix series. Meghan seems to be continuing her audition to be acclaimed as the most hard-done-by person on the planet. Whether it is not going to a coronation or not having enough houses, there is no sorrow that is like Meghan's sorrow. Number 8, brainwashed prince. Harry has been called an unintelligent man who has been brainwashed by his wife into a rift with the royal family. Royal expert Tom Bauer made sensational comments against the Duke and Duchess ahead of the release of Harry's bombshell memoir and the couple's Netflix docuseries. Let's be real here, folks. Harry may have been a bit of a party boy in his youth, but calling him unintelligent is just plain rude. I mean, do you see how well he speaks and carries himself in public? That takes some serious intelligence and charisma. And as for being brainwashed by Meghan, let's give the man some credit. I highly doubt that she has some sort of Jedi mind control over him. Plus, can we just acknowledge the fact that maybe he's just a grown man who is capable of making his own decisions? Just a thought. But all jokes aside, let's not forget that Harry has been through a lot in his life. He lost his mother at a young age, had to deal with the constant scrutiny of the media, and now has to navigate his way through a complicated relationship with his family. That's enough to mess with anyone's head. Number 7, money game. Meg was disillusioned because she wanted to be rich, and in no small matter. She hatched a plan to leave the royal family and be a working royal well ahead before the film debut. When she went on royal duty with Prince Harry to Saudi, the Crown Prince of Saudi gave her a pair of diamond earrings. Meghan refused to add it to the royal collection. She kept it. Yet all the diamonds, pieces of jewelry, and the tiara she wore on her wedding and some official occasions were from the royal collection, handed over to the generations of the royal family. Obviously, a scheming Meghan will find 1,001 lies against her in-laws despite using the brand to make millions of dollars. If they were so against the royal family, why are they fighting for their children to have royal titles? Harry said he was being discriminated against because of Meghan's color, which is the reason the late Queen denied his children's titles. Number 6, Megxit. That time, Meghan and Harry surprised the royal family by announcing their exit. Harry and Meghan dropped the bomb bright and early that new year, reportedly taking everyone, including the Queen, by surprise. While some might have seen this as a rebellious move, let's be real, it was probably just their way of making sure they don't miss out on any Black Friday sales. Can you imagine the Queen going through retail therapy? That would definitely break the internet. But in all seriousness, this decision raised many eyebrows and sparked heated debates amongst the public. Some saw it as a bold move towards independence, while others viewed it as a slap in the face to the royal family. Either way, it's safe to say that Harry and Meghan are not afraid to shake things up. One thing is for sure, their exit caused quite the stir and left many wondering what this means for the future of the monarchy. Will we see more royals stepping away from their duties and pursuing their own paths? Will the royal family have to adapt and change with the times? Only time will tell. But for now, all eyes are on Harry and Meghan as they embark on their new journey. Who knows, maybe we'll see them in a reality TV show next. That would definitely add some spice to the royal family drama. Number 5, Princess Diana 2.0. Apparently Meghan always wanted one thing in life, and that's to become a member of the British royal family. Now she's never confirmed that, but her friends say that she always had a fascination with the royals. According to some sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. She wanted to be a princess since she was a teenager. Her old pal once said she was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role ably, but my advice to Harry is to tread cautiously. I'm not shocked at all. It's like she has been planning this all her life. She gets exactly what she wants, and Harry has fallen for her play. Even staging that fake car crash chase to make everybody believe that history is repeating itself is in true Meghan fashion. Number 4, using Harry for money. The engagement interview between Meghan and Harry was broadcast by numerous networks worldwide. When Sky News in Britain broadcast it live, comments began to pour in, and not all of them wished the couple well. In fact, numerous insults were leveled against Meghan, accusing her of being in it for the money, and allegations that she was acting inappropriately during the interview. One person wrote she sees British pound signs, another person wrote she won the lottery, she won't give a crap anymore when she has that money. According to the Daily Mail, when Meghan and Harry announced the name and details of their new foundation, they hadn't finished registering for their website, so someone else took it. On top of that, that person did something pretty bad. The Sussexes provided the Telegraph with a few specifics regarding the foundation. The Greek word for source of action, arch, came before Sussex Royale. They told the newspaper, "We inspired to name our son after this concept for the charitable organization we hope to establish one day." An obvious insult to Meghan was the fact that a hacker registered archwellfoundation.com and redirected it to a YouTube video of Kanye West's gold digger. Number 3, codependent couple. Despite the royal family's take, Harry and Meghan have attested to their seemingly fairy tale romance. In a 2018 interview with BBC, the couple sat down to talk about the origins of the relationship. However, thoughts about Harry and Meghan's possibly codependent relationship have become a trending topic on Twitter, especially following the release of Harry and Meghan. One user tweeted in part, "They have the most unhealthy codependent relationship I've ever seen." Another person wrote, "I suspect Harry has been literally transformed by what he believes is his intense love for Meghan," adding that he's completely codependent on her. So what will come of Harry and Meghan's future together? Even though we don't know the couple personally, do we think their relationship is based on codependency? Or is this just another case of people trying to determine their relationship with limited info? Number 2, feud with Kate. When news of Harry and Meghan's move out of Kensington Palace to strike out on their own first broke out in November of 2018, the public and the press came to a unanimous conclusion as to why that would be: Meghan. Everyone pointed the fingers at the new royal, suggesting her alleged difficult Duchess attitude had not been just reserved for the staff and caused a feud between her and Kate. While a few hints have been given on why the royal family wasn't getting along, it was never revealed why Kate had a problem with Meghan. William was not happy about Harry and Meghan moving to Windsor, and Harry also felt his brother didn't welcome Meghan with open arms. Despite the fact that Meghan and Kate have nothing in common, Kate had other reasons she didn't like Meghan. And finally, number 1, dishing friends for royal status. A former friend and colleague who said Meghan ghosted her was Gina Nelthorpe-Crown, who found the future Duchess to be hugely charismatic when they first met in 2014. Nelthorpe-Crown said she last heard from Meghan when the future Duchess told her she was giving up her career and terminating their contract. Ouch! Meghan felt no type of way about letting go of her former friends. It seems as if a couple people have claimed that she cut them off as soon as she and Harry became serious. Number 10, getting the press on her side. The new queen appears to have made a conscious effort to woo the very press that made her life hell for over a decade, displaying her strength and intelligence. According to royal biographer Penny Juror, she was seen out and about with Charles as soon as she got married, and when people met her, they were surprised by how warm, friendly, and funny she was. She impressed them. On top of that, on the grounds that she was agreeable to the press and accommodating to paparazzi, they composed cordial things about her and distributed great pics, and slowly, the general visibilities of her changed. Indeed, the new queen has managed to turn her relationship with the press from a nightmare into a fairy tale. But let's not forget that this is no ordinary queen we're talking about. Camilla is known for her sharp wit and quick comebacks, which she often uses to disarm any negative comments thrown her way. In fact, some say that Camilla is the one who has put the sass in the British royal family, With her infectious laugh and clever remarks, she has a way of making even the stickiest situations seem like a breeze. Number 9, Diana and Camilla's relationship. Believe it or not, but Camilla and Diana were once good friends. Diana even anticipated she would be a part of her social circle following the royal wedding, but she realized before she and Charles got married that Charles still had a flame for his former partner, even though Camilla was married at the time. Well, 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 looks like we have a classic love triangle situation on our hands. Talk about some royal drama. But let's be real here. Who wouldn't want to be friends with the fabulous Princess Diana? She was a fashion icon and had the most adorable sons. Plus, she seemed like the kind of gal you could have a good laugh with over a cup of tea. But then Charles just had to go and complicate things by still being hung up on Camilla. Come on, Charles. It's not like you don't have enough options as the future king of England. Can't you pick someone who isn't already married if you're gonna have an affair? And let's not forget about Camilla in all of this. She must have been feeling pretty awkward being friends with Diana while knowing that she was the reason for her future husband's heartache. Talk about an uncomfortable third wheel situation. But in all seriousness, it's a shame that things couldn't have worked out differently. It would have been nice to see Camilla and Diana become BFFs and take on the world together. Number 8, Queen Elizabeth and Camilla. Many of us knew the Queen to be a small woman with colorful clothing and great hats, but she clearly knew how to stand her ground. By doing so, she helped to create a very awkward situation with Camilla in December of 2020. As noted by Express, Camilla joined the Queen, Charles, and other senior royals in an event. Body language expert Judy James explained there was a lot of unspoken tension that day between the monarch and Camilla. In her signature witty style, the Queen made sure to stand in between Charles and Camilla, making it clear that she would not be overshadowed by her son's wife. She even angled herself slightly towards Camilla as if daring her to try and edge closer to the spotlight. But that is not the first time that Queen Elizabeth used her clever body language to assert her dominance. In fact, she has a long history of using subtle gestures and positioning to make her presence known. Number 7, Charles and Camilla's wedding. Charles's wedding to Camilla was full of tension. First of all, Queen Elizabeth refused to attend the ceremony. And while she had given her formal approval for the couple to tie the knot, she did not show up at the actual wedding, making for a rather awkward turn of events. While many speculated that her lack of attendance was a sign that she didn't approve of the marriage behind closed doors, it was reported the Queen didn't attend the wedding because she is the head of the Church of England and didn't want to publicly promote divorce and remarriage. Sure. However, the absence of the Queen wasn't the only strange occurrence at the wedding. The Queen's corgis, who are always present and well behaved at royal events, were noticeably absent from the wedding. It seems that they too disapproved of Charles' second marriage and decided to boycott the ceremony. But perhaps the most awkward moment was when Camilla accidentally said, "I take thee, Charles," instead of the traditional, "I take thee to be my lawfully wedded husband." This slip-up caused quite a stir and was seen as a bad omen for their marriage. Some even joked that Camilla's mistake was foreshadowing of their rocky relationship ahead. Number 6, Camilla and Kate. Camilla was spotted with Kate and Queen Letizia of Spain at an event in 2019 where Kate was accused of intentionally ignoring Camilla during their conversation with Letizia, as the then Duchess of Cornwall was pretty much just left in the background of a conversation between the other two royals. It looks like our favorite Duchess duo, Kate and Camilla, may have hit a bump in the road, and by bump I mean a royal-sized elephant in the room. It all went down at an event where Kate was caught having a seemingly heated conversation with Queen Letizia of Spain. But what really raised eyebrows was the fact that Camilla was basically left out in the cold, standing awkwardly in the sidelines while the two chatted. But let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. Maybe Kate and Letizia were just really engrossed in their conversation and didn't realize poor Camilla was being excluded. Or maybe they were discussing something super top secret that Camilla wasn't privy to. Either way, I'm sure Camilla handled the situation with her usual grace and poise. She is, after all, a seasoned royal who knows how to handle these types of situations. Let's be real. She's probably used to being overshadowed by Kate at this point. Number 5, Harry and Camilla. In his most recent memoir, Spare, Harry's portrayal of his stepmother is perhaps the most critical. In fact, it's clear that their relationship has not exactly been the stuff of fairy tales. In one passage, Harry sarcastically refers to Camilla as the Queen of Hearts. Although some may say this is a harsh way to describe a member of the family, I can't help but laugh at the subtle jab. It's like something straight out of a modern-day Shakespearean play. But let's be real. We've all had that one stepmother figure who isn't exactly the nicest, and in Harry's defense, he did have to go through the trauma of losing a beloved mother at such a young age. So while the Queen may not appreciate Harry's witty remarks, I am totally here for it. Number 4, coronation. Queen Camilla solidified her inheritance inside the English royal family when she was crowned alongside King Charles. However, the new title also comes with its own set of duties and responsibilities. As if being married to a king wasn't enough work, Camilla now has to deal with all the drama that came along with it, from attending state dinners and representing the country on official visits to constantly smiling and waving at crowds. It's definitely not a job for the lazy. But let's be real, who wouldn't want to be a queen? Sure, it may come with its own set of challenges, but the perks are pretty sweet too. For starters, you get to wear a crown and live in a castle. I mean, what more could you ask for? And let's not forget about all the designer clothes and jewels that will be at your disposal. Plus, you'll have a team of people to help you look your best at all times. Talk about living the dream. But being a queen is not just about the glitz and glamour. It also comes with a lot of responsibility towards the people and country you represent. Number 3, control. Diana once claimed that Camilla was trying to take control of Harry and William's lives, taking them on international trips and cutting off their contact with the palace. But with their wives Meghan and Kate by their side, the two princes seem to have found the perfect balance between royal obligations and personal happiness. Diana might have been onto something when it comes to controlling the royal family though. After all, for centuries, monarchs have had a tight grip on every aspect of their children's lives, from who they marry to what they wear in public, but with modern times come modern ideas. And it seems like Harry and William have learned to stand up for themselves. In fact, when it comes to their choices in life, the two princes seem to have developed a no royal control attitude. They have broken royal traditions by marrying women of their choice, Prince William with commoner Kate Middleton and Harry with American actress Meghan. They've also made personal decisions such as moving away from the palace to live in their own homes. Number 2, phone call transcripts. Multiple media outlets once published the Tampon Gate tape transcript. Some outlets refer to the tape as Camilla Gate in reference to Charles's mistress. Others speculated whether the tape would prevent Charles from someday ascending to the throne. But let's be real, the only thing this transcript revealed was how awkward phone sex can be. And in this case, it wasn't even that. It was just a cringe-worthy conversation between two lovers who should have known better than to talk on phone about, the dirty stuff. It's almost comical how they kept calling each other darling and sweetheart while trying to keep the tension alive. But let's not forget that this is royalty we're talking about, so it's no surprise they have a different way of expressing their desires. Instead of saying I want you or I need you, they use phrases like I miss you dreadfully and my heart sings when I think of you. Did you like my British accent? And don't even get me started on the use of euphemisms. Fondness for lovemaking? Really? When you're a prince and duchess, you have to watch your language, even in private conversations. And finally, number 1, the monarchy's secret weapon. Camilla also proved herself to be a hard worker and a secret weapon for a monarchy low on top-tier royals available for public service. And yeah, that was shade towards Harry and Meghan. She's now the patron of more than 90 charities and has a camaraderie with the public few other royals can claim. That's right, Camilla is like the queen of multitasking. She can juggle a ridiculous number of charities, all while maintaining her composure and witty humor. It's almost like she has a superpower or something. And let's not forget about her unique camaraderie with the public. Despite being part of the royal family, she still manages to connect with people from all walks of life. Maybe it's her down-to-earth personality or her love for a good pint, but whatever it is, the public absolutely adores her. While other royals may shy away from public appearances or struggle with their image, Camilla knows how to work a crowd like no other. She's the perfect balance of regal and relatable, making her an invaluable asset to the monarchy, whether we like it or not. Number 10, the gagging order. Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela Kelly, has been presented with a new grace and favor home in the north of England after she was forced out of her Windsor Digs On agreement that she won't reveal any more royal secrets. A source told the Mail that the agreement was essentially a gagging order, preventing Kelly from using the words king and palace for commercial purposes. Kelly was expected to write a third book about her royal role, but the Mail says the agreement may be imping on, if not outright torpedo that. Charles, the paper says, wants to both honor his late mother's wishes by providing Kelly with a home while stopping the leak of any more royal dish. It looks like Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela, has landed herself in a bit of a pickle. After being ousted from her cozy digs at Windsor Castle, she was presented with a new home up north on the condition that she keeps her mouth shut about all things royal. Poor Angela, I can only imagine how tempting it must be to spill some juicy royal secrets about the family, but hey, at least she's got a new place to call home. And let's not forget about the added bonus of having one less mouth to feed at Windsor Castle. Rumor has it that this agreement is essentially a gagging order, preventing her from using words like king and palace for her own financial gain. So I guess we won't be seeing a third book anytime soon. Number 9, distant mother. Being a queen of England while also being a mom had to have been a tough road to travel, and it's highly likely Queen Elizabeth did her best. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding, and for Elizabeth's children, it seems that pudding was a bit stale. Let's start with King Charles. He famously described his relationship with his mother as being distant, which is British for we barely know each other. Ouch. And to make matters worse, according to sources close to the Queen, she preferred her husband, Prince Philip, over their children. Talk about playing favorites. But it's not just King Charles who felt the chill from his mother. Her daughter, Princess Anne, has said that growing up with the Queen as a mom was a bit of a challenge, and we all know British people are masters at using understatement to describe their true feelings. Even the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, has admitted that his mother wasn't exactly the warm and fuzzy type of parent. In an interview, he said, "My parents were far more dedicated to their work than they were to me." Ouch again. So what's a distant mom like? Well, for one thing, it means missing out on important milestones in your children's lives. The Queen famously didn't attend any of her children's births. Instead, she sent someone else to represent her. Talk about being busy. And as for quality time with the kids, it seems that it wasn't high on the Queen's priority list either. In fact, King Charles once said he could count on one hand the number of times he and his mother had a one-on-one conversation. That's not exactly the recipe for a close relationship. Number 8, Princess Diana. The top secret revealed by Diana back in '95 when the princess agreed to sit down with BBC's Martin Bashir for an exclusive interview. In the interview, Diana opened up about her marriage to Charles and her experiences with the royal family, and admitted she also had an affair during her marriage. She also revealed that Charles's long affair with Camilla made her feel worthless, but it wasn't just this shocking admission that made the interview a sensation. It was Diana's raw honesty and vulnerability. She broke the mold of being a stoic, composed princess and instead showed her human side, one that struggled with mental health issues and felt trapped in a loveless marriage. The interview was unprecedented for someone of her royal status, where appearances are everything and emotions are to be kept in check. The impact of this interview was far-reaching, causing a media frenzy, sparking conversations about the royal family's treatment of Diana, and it also brought attention to mental health issues and shed light on the pressures faced by those in the public eye. Diana's bravery in speaking her truth ultimately led to changes within the royal family and society as a whole. Today, Diana's legacy lives on as a humanitarian and fashion icon. Her charity work and advocacy for important causes such as landmines and HIV/AIDS continue to inspire others to make a difference. And her iconic style is still emulated by many, proving that she truly was a timeless fashion icon. Number 7, preventing Meghan from visiting the Queen. New details about the drama surrounding who was ultimately with the late Queen for her final hours, and why Meghan Markle's rift with the family meant Kate Middleton had to stay home. According to the Daily Telegraph, Kate reluctantly stayed back as William raced to Balmoral amid news the monarch's health was failing, traveling on a private jet with his uncles Andrew and Edward, along with Edward's wife Sophie. Did Kate really have to stay back? Or was she just avoiding another round of royal drama? We'll never know for sure, but it definitely is not a bad idea. After all, who wants to be stuck in a castle with their sister-in-law when tensions are high? But let's be real, we all know the real reason Kate stayed back. She didn't want to be caught in the middle of another fight between Meghan and the Queen. Can you imagine being stuck in a car with those two driving through the Scottish countryside? And let's not forget the fact that there were already rumors swirling about Meghan and Harry's rocky relationship with the royal family. The last thing Kate needed was to add fuel to the fire by being there in person. Plus, she's got 3 kids at home to take care of. It's not like she could just drop everything and fly off to Scotland at a moment's notice. Number 6, secret room. All historic buildings have their secrets, and Westminster Abbey is no exception. Dating back to 1245, when King Harry III selected it as his burial site, the Abbey has spaces that the royals occupy, but that remains unknown to the masses. One of these has recently been revealed to a select few. There's a hidden room located in the Parliament's Speaker's Quarters, which the monarch traditionally sleeps in on the night before their coronation in Westminster. But why is it a secret room? Is it because it holds royal treasures or forbidden knowledge? No. The real reason is much more mundane. It's simply used as extra storage space for cleaning supplies and equipment. Imagine that. The the place where kings and queens prepare to take on their reign, being filled with mops and buckets. However, despite this lack of grandeur, this secret room has served a vital purpose in the past. During World War II, it was used as an air raid shelter for members of the royal family and government officials. It's not often that a janitorial closet saves lives, but during those tumultuous times, it provided refuge from enemy bombings. And while it may not hold any hidden treasures or mystical secrets that we know of, the room itself has a rich history and adds to the intrigue of Westminster Abbey. It's a reminder that even in the most prestigious places, there are still hidden corners and lesser known stories waiting to be discovered. Number 5, hiding details about wealth. Far from opening the royal family's wealth, inherited or otherwise, to scrutiny, astonishingly there appears to be no study of this topic. The Queen successfully lobbied the government to change a draft law in order to conceal her embarrassing private wealth from the public. Hey, don't blame Queenie. We all have those embarrassing moments in our lives that we wanted to keep hidden from the world. However, it was quite ironic that the same queen who demands transparency and honesty from her subjects is not willing to practice what she preaches. And let's not forget about the royal family's tax exemptions and huge expenses on luxurious lifestyles. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. Queen Elizabeth had been reigning for over 68 years and had managed to keep herself out of any major scandal or controversy. That definitely requires some skillful maneuvering and a good PR team. All jokes aside, the issue of transparency in the royal family is not something to be taken lightly. As citizens, we do have the right to know how our taxes are being spent and if there are any conflicts of interest within the monarchy. Number 4, affairs. The late Princess Diana and King Charles had a pretty rocky relationship, and it was never hard to see the lack of chemistry and affection in the couple, sadly enough. Diana was torn after finding out about the long affair Charles was having with Camilla. However, it seems like affairs have been a trend in the royal family for quite some time. Queen Elizabeth's own sister, Princess Margaret, had her fair share of scandalous affairs that shook the monarchy back in the day. But what is it about royalty that seems to attract affairs? Is it the pressure of a loveless marriage, the constant media scrutiny, or maybe it's just the allure of forbidden fruit? We'll never know. Number 3, Charles's relationship problems. We all know the relationship between Diana and Charles was no secret, so when the news about them breaking up finally went public, many people became interested in them as individuals and as a failed marriage. Number 2, Camilla. According to King Charles's biographer who spoke with Newsweek Royal Report podcast, Queen Elizabeth always detested Camilla and only agreed to give her blessing for the royal to be known as Queen Consort because of an unspoken deal behind the scenes. And I wonder what that was. Camilla, who is now Queen Camilla, first met Charles in the 70s, and the two were in and out of relationships ever since. Charles admitted to adultery when his marriage became irrevocably broken down in 1981. And finally, number 1, tax fraud. The family has been exposed numerous times and have been dealing with a number of issues, one of which is tax fraud. The late queen was once exposed for concealing her embarrassing wealth from the public, which may or may not come as a surprise. Number 10, the royal family versus Camilla. Even though Charles and Camilla's relationship was very serious, Camilla was viewed negatively by the royals, but Diana, she was received with open arms. That was probably because Camilla was Charles's former flame while Diana was the young and innocent bride. Plus, let's be real, nobody wants to upset Queen Elizabeth. But even in the midst of all this drama and tabloid fodder, there is always a silver lining. And for Camilla, that is her sense of humor. Yeah. Camilla Parker Bowles' sense of humor. Who would have thought? In fact, it's said that she often uses her wit to diffuse tense situations with the royal family. Camilla also has a knack for making people feel comfortable and at ease. She often breaks the ice with self-deprecating jokes, poking fun at her own reputation or appearance. And even though some may see this as a defense mechanism, I choose to see it as a charming and endearing quality. After all, who doesn't love someone who can make themselves laugh and others? Number 9, just a mistress. Former couple Princess Diana and then Prince Charles gave birth to Prince William in 1982 and Harry in 1984. By 1986, Charles had revived his former flame, Camilla. As the story goes, Charles had long been in love with Camilla. In 1995, Diana did an interview with BBC's Panorama and revealed her husband's affair with Camilla, famously saying, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." So it was a bit crowded. That quote was definitely a mic drop moment and showed that even royalty is not immune to infidelity. But who is Camilla really? She's often portrayed as the villain in the love triangle between Charles and Diana, or just known as simply the notorious mistress. To understand Camilla, we have to go back to her childhood. She was born into a wealthy family and attended prestigious schools. She was an outgoing and fun-loving girl, but also known for her sharp wit and humor. Her marriage to Andrew in 1973 seemed like a fairy tale at first, but it quickly became apparent that the couple had different interests and values. They both had affairs throughout their marriage, with Camilla's most notable being with Charles. Camilla's relationship with Charles was put on hold while he married Diana, but they continued their affair throughout Charles's marriage. In fact, Camilla even attended royal events with Charles and Diana without anyone knowing her true relationship with Charles. Number 8, unfit for the King of England. Charles and Camilla first met in the 70s. The prince fell in love right away after they were introduced by friends. However, their love story was anything but a fairy tale, as Camilla was already in a relationship with Andrew, whom she eventually married in 1973. Despite this initial obstacle, Prince Charles always held a special place in his heart for Camilla. He even gifted her the same bracelet he gave to Diana years later when they got engaged. But the royal family, particularly Queen Elizabeth, did not approve of their relationship and pressured Charles to end things with Camilla. However, as they say, love knows no boundaries, and the two continued to see each other in secret. Eventually, Camilla and Andrew divorced in 1995, while Charles's marriage to Diana fell apart shortly after. The couple faced intense media scrutiny and public backlash for their affair, with Camilla being labeled as the other woman who broke up a marriage. But despite all the criticism and disapproval, Charles and Camilla remained steadfast in their love for each other. They finally tied the knot in a low-key civil ceremony in 2005, making Camilla the Duchess of Cornwall. The Queen did not attend the wedding, but she gave her blessing to the couple, showing that even the strictest of monarchs can have a change of heart. Number 7, unpopular queen. Camilla was not a popular choice among the general public, and she was also unpopular with royal family members. She was seen by many as an adulterer who had ruined Princess Diana's life. However, Charles was unwilling to give Camilla up again. But let's be real, who would want to give up Camilla? She may not have been the most popular choice for Charles's wife, but she definitely has a sense of humor. In fact, many say that her witty remarks and down-to-earth personality are what helped her win over the royal family in the end. One of Camilla's most famous moments was when she joked about her own unpopularity during a public event. When asked by a reporter if she was getting used to the public's negative response towards her, Camilla replied with a sly smile, "You mean, am I getting used to people throwing eggs at me? Oh yes, it's becoming quite a regular occurrence." Her quick wit and ability to make fun of herself won over most of the avid anti-Camilla supporters. Number 6, public reaction. Charles' second wife Camilla is unlikely to be forgiven for her role in the breakdown of the Wales marriage because of Diana's legacy, which has won her a new generation of admirers. In the early 90s, when Charles appeared to confirm rumors that he had been having an affair during an interview with Jonathan Dimbleby in 1994, Camilla became a person of interest to the British press. She was dubbed the other woman and received widespread condemnation for her role in the dissolution of Charles and Diana's marriage. However, as time passed, public opinion shifted. In 2005, after years of speculation and rumors, Charles and Camilla finally tied the knot in a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall. While some still held resentment towards Camilla for her past actions, many began to see her in a different light. As she took on the role of Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla proved to be a loyal and devoted partner to Charles. Despite that, some people still hold on to their negative opinions of Camilla. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Princess Diana's former butler Paul Burrell stated that Camilla will never be accepted as queen, but as the years go by, it seems that Camilla's role as the Duchess of Cornwall and her genuine warmth and humor have helped to create a more positive public perception. And while there may always be those who hold on to their negative opinions of Camilla and refuse to forgive her for their past actions, it seems that the majority of the public has moved on from the scandal. Number 5, the impact of Diana's passing. Commentators were almost unanimous in their belief that Charles would never marry Camilla, even if she had been his love of his life. Despite the national outrage and finger-pointing over Diana's passing, perhaps Charles, as the current king, felt that he could not take such a risk and tarnish the image of the monarchy, but fate had other plans. On to number 4, the royal affair, which is no big secret. The Princess of Wales was very much aware of Charles cheating on her with Camilla. His mistress at the time was regarded as a villain long before Diana and Charles filed for divorce. On top of that, she was resented up until the untimely passing of Diana in 1997. The public's opinion of Camilla slowly but surely began to shift from being seen as the other woman to now being King Charles's wife and the new Queen of England. She's definitely had quite the ride. Number 3, backlash. Charles's troubled past has been exposed numerous times now that he is king. He was accused of trying to get the British government to do some shady things for him. A senior member of parliament dubbed Charles Britain's best informed lobbyist after it was revealed in 2015 that he had received secret documents about the British government's inner workings that not even elected ministers had seen. The royal engaged in personal lobbying efforts to senior politicians about a variety of topics, including illegal fishing of the Patagonian toothfish and orders of military helicopters during the Iraq War, according to 27 memos that were provided to The Guardian and dubbed the Black Spider memos due to Charles's scroll. Clarence House stated at the time that it is typical for heirs to the throne to be briefed on political topics. However, critics argued that members of the royal family should avoid politics. King Charles's political activism raises the question of whether he will be a politically outspoken monarch. According to University of Chicago historian James Vaughn, who spoke to Politico, the question mark would be, would he try to use his role in the unwritten constitution to influence the British government's politics, and thinking more than his mother probably ever wanted to? Number 2, confrontation. Diana felt she had to give her husband's mistress a piece of her mind after being advised by friends to ignore suspicions of an affair between her husband, Charles, and longtime friend Camilla. Diana confronted Camilla boldly, saying, "I'd just like you to know that I know exactly what is going on." Despite the Princess of Wales' claim that she was terrified of Camilla. By claiming she had no idea what Diana was talking about, Camilla attempted to refute the allegation. Diana recalled Camilla saying that she could have all the men in the world and everything she could ever want. Diana replied to Camilla, "I want my husband," when asked what else she would want. And number 1, the palace staff. The Prince of Wales' affair with the Duchess of Cornwall, which occurred while Charles was married to Diana, is well known to, well, everyone at this point. It's safe to assume that some members of the royal family are not satisfied with the fact that the affair was getting screen time on Netflix's The Crown Season 4, making it by far one of the biggest royal relationship scandals. However, juicy details about their affair, like this rare quote from a former employee of Prince Charles, are harder to come by. The former employee, who wishes to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, stated that working at the palace was like being part of a dramatic soap opera. According to them, they once witnessed Charles and Camilla having a heated argument in one of the palace corridors. The source added that it was so intense that they could hear their voices from down the hall. But that isn't the only spicy gossip from a former palace staff. Reports have also surfaced of Charles and Diana's volatile marriage, with one staff member describing it as walking on eggshells. It seems like even royal employees were aware of the tension between the couple, which ultimately led to their highly publicized divorce. And let's not forget about the infamous love triangle between Diana, Charles, and Camilla. The former palace staff member revealed that it was common knowledge amongst the employees that Charles still had strong feelings for Camilla despite being married to Diana. In fact, they claim to have witnessed several secret meetings between the two at the palace. But don't be fooled into thinking that all that drama is in the past. The palace staff are still privy to juicy details about the royal family's personal lives, whether it's Prince William and Kate Middleton's supposed arguments, or Harry and Meghan's rumored tensions with other members of the family. The palace employees have a front row seat to all the royal gossip. But that is all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more juicy news on your favorite royals and other celebrities, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.